Around 10 years ago, I was on a farm and I was watching two dogs fighting. They were both female, and one of the dogs got on top of the other from behind and started humping. And it made me realize, it wasn't an act of sexual desire. It was an act of dominance, of power, of violation. And you think about prison rape, a very common occurrence, or rape during war. We can't really explain these things as purely in terms of procreation. Yeah, there's a biological evolutionary argument to be made that rape was a tactic for lower status males to propagate their genetics, to forcibly copulate because they had no other means for attracting a mate. That argument can be made, but it doesn't necessarily explain why there's sexual assault between same sexes and why a lot of sexual violence leads to murder. That is to say, someone can rape a woman, a man can rape a woman and then kill her. That's not really a procreation tactic. There was a murder here in Korea, in Gangnam, where a man stabbed a random woman in a bathroom, and later they interviewed him and he said he did it because he was angry at women, that they had too much power. I realized some time ago that in highly misogynistic cultures, they are also more homophobic. And whenever homophobia is discussed, usually it is men feminizing themselves. That is to say, a man putting on makeup, a man wearing women's clothes, a man acting feminine in any way. You know, there's the slur, oh, they're like a fairy. Hey, oh, effeminate. That's seen as more deplorable than a woman being manly. A woman putting on a suit, acting like a man, talking like a man, that's seen as moving up in power. But a man acting like a woman is moving down in power. So why would society react so viscerally towards a man reducing their status? Because in order to create a hierarchy between genders, between sexes, all men have to conform, all women have to conform to certain gender roles. If even one man behaves effeminately, weakens their status, it shows that these boundaries between the sexes are malleable. They are not set in stone. They are something we created, social constructs. And if social constructs are not biologically mandated, then they can be changed. And that threatens those in power. Because what do you have when you have power and dominance? You have submission, you have subjugation, you have servitude. Women, think about Christianity or any conservative mindset or rule. They're against feminism. They are in favor of patriarchal societies. They say that women are less intelligent and more emotional than men. They say that women are not as capable as men. This relegates women to menial jobs that men don't want to do, that really no one really wants to do, petty housework, things like that. And yeah, we can say okay, there's typically difficult male jobs like construction, labor, dirty jobs. And that's things that women wouldn't necessarily want to do. Yes, sure. That argument can be made. But at the same time, what gives people worth in society? Men being nurses, men doing housework, it's seen as lowering their status. It's seen as woman's work. And when I've talked with men before, they say, if I had to have sex with a man, he'll be sucking my dick. I'll be fucking him. Not getting fucked. I won't be the bottom, because that's seen as being the receiver. And women are naturally submissive because women are naturally the receivers. It's funny because, like, there's a term, power bottom, that's come out into the mainstream recently. And it shows, like, women can be dominant even in sex, but there's this instinctual drive to label being penetrated as being submissive and weak, because it's rooted in the idea that women are submissive and weak and should do weak women's work. And that's the difference between a job in construction and hard it's work that no one wants to do, but, you know, we'll do it because it's hard labor. And then women are doing the easy jobs, the stay-at-home jobs, which I don't agree that housework is easy or maintaining a household is easy. And also, there's John Steinbeck's Grapes of Wrath. There's a great little story in it where this woman loves her husband so much, her Chinese husband. They're Chinese, and the husband goes to America to work the railroads, because in early America, Asian people were used as indentured servants and treated horribly. But anyway, she dresses up like a man and sneaks onto the ships because she loves him so much. She wants to be with him. And John Steinbeck writes, like, a woman's muscles get hard just like a man's when she works. So look, if you got every single man and every single woman in the world together and made them all do, like, high athletic stuff, they would probably, okay, like, most people would probably be around similar levels of strength. And maybe there would be, like, a small group of men who would be a lot stronger than the strongest women. But the gap wouldn't be, like, look at the Olympics. There's so many amazing women athletes that blow the average man out of the water. And we can have this whole discussion about, like, bone density and testosterone and whatever, and in general, blah, blah, blah. All that being said, like, a lot of things are environmental. And these things are not well understood enough by modern sciences. We're still trying to uncover, like, why people feel gender dysphoria, why these kind of things are happening. And you have ignorant people who, instead of trying to listen, instead of trying to learn, instead of opening themselves up to expert opinions, they say, oh, it's mental illness, it's pedophilia in disguise, it's blah, 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 when really the root of it is misogyny. It's misogyny and fear of losing patriarchal dominance in society. That's the heart of transphobia. Really, transphobia is homophobia, that homophobia is more taboo now. When I was a kid, it was not taboo. It was widespread. It's actually only very recently, within the last less than 10 years, that it's become more taboo to be outright homophobic. So what do patriarchal dominant people who support the patriarchal dominant hierarchy, they shifted to transphobia because that's a smaller minority, which is becoming bigger because society is becoming safer, and they see it as, oh, that's a point I can attack because I need to regain ground against the opening of the sexes. It's like a war, like it's a push and pull between ideologies. So, yes, the heart of homophobia, transphobia, and rape is all patriarchal dominance, misogyny. So, things to think about.